Today we have as our guest a Kameron from Allsopp Allsopp, who is ready to share his valuable experience with all of you. And today we will discuss both sides, from the agency owners and the agents itself. I have many questions to you. How are you, first of all, and thank you for coming.
I'm very well, thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. It's a hot topic in Dubai right now, right?
Isn't it? Yeah, it is, you know. So many agency owners or agents has plenty of questions on how to find the best company, how to do recruitment, how to find the great agents. It's a big question from all of the sides. And so before we start, you can share a bit about yourself.
Sure. So I'm a recruiter, basically. A recruiter that wears many hats. I recruit mainly for Allsopp Allsopp Group, which is the real estate agency that most people in Dubai real estate will know. And I've been operating with them now for the last 8 years. 3 years ago, we launched Allsopp Allsopp Executive Search, which is a standalone recruitment agency which recruits outside of the real estate industry and away from Allsopp Allsopp Group. But my two main hats are that I recruit for Allsopp Group and Allsopp Allsopp Executive Search. Before I did this, which, as I say, I've been doing it for 8 years, I was actually a broker back in the UK, or a real estate agent, I should say, or an estate agent, as we call it in England. And I did that for nearly a decade before I came to Dubai to work with Allsopp Allsopp. So I think I know what makes a good estate agent. I think I know what makes a good recruiter, which I think gives me quite a unique position, because I've done real estate and recruitment for quite a lot of years. You see so many people will enter the recruitment industry having only had maybe 6 months or a year in the real estate industry. I'd like to think I'm a bit more experienced.
Okay, and you joined Allsopp Allsopp like a recruiter or as an agent?
I joined Allsopp Allsopp as a recruiter. Back 8 years ago, I was sat... if any of you have been to England who are listening, it's lovely. There's lots of history, but it rains a lot and you pay a lot of tax. And I was basically sat in my office 8 years ago thinking there must be more to life than this, surely. And applied with Allsopp Allsopp. I didn't want to leave the real estate industry altogether because I love it and still love it to this day. But I wanted to do something which allowed me to learn and develop new skills, but still remain within the industry. So when I saw the recruitment job with Allsopp Allsopp, I was like, hang on a minute, this is recruiting for the real estate industry. I love both things. This is like the perfect match. And 8 years later, here I am.
Okay. And I know that you didn't plan to come to Dubai, right?
No.
How did it happen? All that rain forced you to go to Dubai?
So I would say this. The job that I saw was a job to recruit for people in Dubai, but it was based in the UK. And for any of you that have followed Allsopp Allsopp's story for a long time will know that we did used to have offices in England. So I was actually based for the first year or two in offices in England, but recruiting for people in Dubai. So I would travel between UK and UAE on a regular basis. I have my CEO, Carl Allsopp, to thank, because it was him that said, Cam, we're moving recruitment to Dubai. At the time, I was the only person in recruitment. So I was like, okay, who's going to Dubai? You are. And it took me 1 month to make the move from England to Dubai after I got the news that we were moving. Put our house up for rent. My wife finished her contract and she joined me 6 months later. But no, it was not my plan to move to Dubai. It was simply my plan to recruit for Dubai. But like many people, you come here and you think, this is pretty good. I don't think I want to go back to the UK now. So it wasn't my plan, but I'm so glad that it happened, because I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't moved to Dubai.
Yeah, it's a very good choice.
Are you tired of playing catch up with the huge amount of real estate projects in Dubai and the fear of missing out on the best ones? Discover the secret behind staying ahead in the game with Really. Imagine closing more deals simply by staying updated on the latest project. With Really, you can make it happen. In Dubai, fast-paced real estate market, over 50 projects launch every week. Really aggregates them all, creating a streamlined platform to track, compare, and make informed decisions. Just download Really explore all off-plan projects, stay ahead of every project launch, win back available time, close more deals, and make more money with Really.
For many people, right? There are lots of, hundreds of thousands of people moving to Dubai. Migration is on the up, which is great for recruiters, but great for the real estate industry because there's lots of building going on. People need homes, people need recruiters. So it's a nice industry to be in.
True. You know, for me, it was also an unexpected decision to come to Dubai.
Aha.
And I came in 2018 when I Googled what is Dubai, because in Latvia, in my country, nobody knows, like not so many people are coming to Dubai.
Okay.
And I just saw golden toilets and etc. And I was like, okay, but I'm going there. So, but it was the best decision for me as well.
Yeah.
Okay, coming back to the recruitment topic, let's talk about Allsopp and Allsopp. How looks your perfect candidate for the role of agent? How do you find them? How looks the agent itself? Let's start with that.
So let's say what is the perfect agent? Somebody could approach us who we do not believe on first impression is a perfect agent, but over time they develop these skills and this experience which you may think, they have become the perfect agent. But if we look from afar, we need somebody that really buys into what Allsopp and Allsopp are all about. We're dynamic. We are the change makers. We're the leaders in many respects in the secondary market real estate space, and we only want winners. We want people who are risk-taking. We want people who are outgoing, people who are motivated. Yes, you need to be motivated by money, but actually if you're super successful, the money is almost like a byproduct of the success that you're actually achieving in the real estate industry. We have hired, as I say, people that we've initially thought, I'm not sure whether or not you're going to work out. And they've completely surprised us. Vice versa, we've seen people that have joined us that have had the perfect experience on their CV. Maybe they've operated in the real estate industry back in the UK or somewhere else in the world before, but they join and they're just not cut out for the Dubai real estate market. And I think you would argue that, or not argue, sorry, you would agree, the Dubai real estate market is different to anywhere else in the world, right?
Yeah.
I've only really had experience in the UK and the UAE real estate markets, but it's faster pace here. The stakes are higher, the risks are more, the reward is more, but you need to be prepared to show up every day, especially in a commission-only role. And I don't think people the world over understand how difficult it can be. They see these shows.
And a lot of money everywhere.
A lot of money, and the golden toilets and the Lamborghinis and the tall buildings. And they think, this is amazing. I can have that. You can have it if that's what you want, but it's not going to happen overnight. And I think the people that we look for really have to have some degree of stability within their CV or their work experience, because if you see somebody who has had 6 months, 8 months, a year in a job, and then they move on to the next employer in the next, yes, sometimes there might be some reasons as to why those moves have happened. There might be some, mitigating circumstances in their life which have prevented them from giving their all to their job. But come on, if somebody's had 4, 5, 6 jobs in the space of 2 years, there is a question mark. Because if you're giving up on a salaried role, what are you going to be like in a commission-only role where the stakes are even higher and you're not earning a basic salary?
Yeah, true. And what would be the 3 things that you would say, like the perfect agent has? A, B, C, D. What are these 3 points?
Most importantly is personality. You've got to be able to connect with somebody. Let's take today as an example. I've met you for the first time. We clicked. It could have gone completely the wrong way, but it didn't. And if I'm on an interview and it clicks from a personality perspective, that's the first hurdle. We're over it. The second is the motivation. If you say to anybody, what's your why? I'm here for the beaches and the sun. If somebody says, I'm here because I want to provide a better life for my family, or I want to pay off my parents' mortgage, or I want to raise enough money to be able to start my own business, instantly I'm thinking, okay, the motivations on this candidate are right. And then C, their work history. It comes last because, as I said to you before, there are mitigating circumstances that mean somebody doesn't stay in a job. But if somebody has A and B and they have a great work history, there's the perfect candidate.
Okay, perfect. And what about the resume itself? Because you see them a lot, right? And there is the opinion that, for example, the beautiful resume with a lot of pictures and a lot of things, it catch your attention.
Yes.
Does it really matter? do you really watch them? Or it's just like for a few seconds and then next.
So I actually recorded a podcast recently and the lady quoted that a candidate has 7 seconds to impress upon the person that they're trying to impress themselves. Be that CV, be that their look, their vibe, their smile, whatever. 7 seconds is not very long for you to look at a CV. The very word itself, CV or curriculum vitae, or it just sounds a bit old-fashioned, right? And I would say, not to plug a brand, but LinkedIn is a much easier way for us to connect with somebody and look at their experience in a very quick and sharp manner than maybe 2, 3, 4 pages of CV. Doesn't mean a CV is obsolete. I think for some industries, CVs are really, really important. But for real estate, based on the fact that I said the most important thing is personality and first impression, going to a LinkedIn profile, if you like a digital CV, how much easier is it? You see the photograph of the individual, you can instantly connect, especially if they're smiling or they're professional in their photo. You can see their instant job title, where they are right now, what their education is, where they've been before. That for me is much better. And I will encourage people to share their LinkedIn profile with me more than I would share a CV.
CV, right? It's 21st century.
Well, also, how many just wind up in junk folders, or they're in the wrong format, or you open them and the formatting is wrong? I don't want to discourage people from creating a CV, but as you say, it's the 21st century. Yeah. Make a LinkedIn profile.
True. And also on LinkedIn, you can find also references in case if you have from the previous
recommendations,
and etc. So it's much
easier. You can see who the individual is connected with as well. And I feel like sometimes a CV is it's a locked document. You could put something on your CV, and actually I have a funny story, which I will tell you now about somebody's CV. They mentioned in their hobbies and interests that they enjoyed horse riding. So during the interview, we were talking away and I said, so you horse riding? And the person went, huh? I said, you like horse riding, right? No, I've never horse ridden in my life. And then the panic set in and she said, it was my friend's CV. I'm so sorry. Like I doctored it for myself, but no, I've never horse ridden. And I was like, okay. And there just goes to show people can write anything on a CV, whereas on a LinkedIn profile, first of all, you don't mention what your interests are in that way, but you can mention what you like to talk about. I feel like it's a more true and genuine representation of the individual rather than taking somebody's CV and doctoring it for yourself.
Yeah, and do you check by yourself other social media, Instagram, Facebook? Do you do that?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
We do. And some people will be listening to this and go, oh, well, that's really unprofessional. My Instagram is my personal life. If your Instagram is private and it's your personal life, then good luck to you. That's absolutely fine. We're all entitled to a private life. But if you are applying, especially, again, in a real estate position, the first thing is people, connecting with people. We've got to see what type of person you are. If there is constant partying, not that there's anything wrong with partying, go out and enjoy yourself. But your clients are spending life-changing sums of money with you to purchase or let a property. You've got to show up. You've got to be knowledgeable. You can't say, I'm really sorry, I feel a bit hungover today. We'll deal with it tomorrow. It's the real estate industry in Dubai. It moves quickly. So if there is patterns, with a lifestyle which perhaps doesn't sit right with what we look for, then of course. Vice versa, there'll be things which I see on people's Instagrams and I will message them after the interview and go, oh my God, I didn't realize you'd met so-and-so, or I didn't realize you'd visited this place. How did you get on? And it creates that next level of communication and rapport with a customer or a candidate, more so than you would if you would just sat opposite each other on a board table.
True.
In fact, I actually did an interview on Friday. It was the lady's second or third time in Dubai. She said, I'm only here for a weekend. What recommendations have you got for places to eat? I sent her like 3 or 4 places to eat that I'd recommend on Instagram. She messaged me, this is amazing, thank you. Like, it's just that going the extra mile to get to know somebody.
True. And For example, in the Facebook, I'm thinking about my profile now. Oh my God, I have picture with my family there, etc.
And the
Like
old-fashioned photos from like when we were
oh my
teenagers.
God.
Yes, yes.
I have to take care of it because the rest of the social media I'm taking care of, but the Facebook is like something that I forgot and only my family see that.
Isn't Facebook an interesting one though? So LinkedIn and Instagram we've mentioned quite significantly. TikTok is also a big platform for a lot of the emerging markets and junior users. Facebook's kind of been forgotten. But it has, right? Like if I go onto my own Facebook, there's albums on there from, I don't know, 2007
from university
or whatever. And you're like, well, first of all, I don't have any hair now, but was my hair really like that? And did I really dress like that? I think as recruiters, though, and as hiring professionals, we need to take Facebook with a pinch of salt because we all have a past. We all have a history. We all have looks that don't feature in our everyday wardrobe now. But that's part of what makes us who we are. So I definitely don't think you should delete your Facebook, but probably just be a bit more selective on some of the content that you have on there.
Okay, I have a next question.
Sure.
So the question is about, I heard somewhere quote, either it was someone that was telling me, the agency owner, I don't remember, but he was telling to me that if 70% of hired agents are gone and 30% left, that means that it's very good result. What he meant by this is that the hiring and firing is very high, right? Do you have any kind of your statistics, your personal statistics? What is the good sign? What is the bad sign? And etc. What percentage usually stays?
So I think the first thing to say is that the real estate industry the world over has a relatively high turnover of staff. Why? Because it's difficult. If it were easy and it were as glamorous as selling sunset makes out, everybody would be operating in the real estate industry, and they don't. So I think the world over, it's quite a high turnover industry. However, if we look at sort of standards, if you like, across the industry, 50% is considered average. If you're hiring people and 50% of them stay with you, that's relatively good. Now, in other industries, you go, oh my God, half retention? That's terrible. But when you factor in the fact that it is commission only, and you have got to have some savings behind you, and you are away from home, there are lots of circumstances which could make it difficult for you. However, for Allsopp and Allsopp, it's about 60-40.
60-40.
So 60% of the people will be retained, 40% will move on. And I'm kind of okay with that. Would we like to get it to 70-30? Would I like to get it to 80-20? Would I like to retain everybody that joins us? Yes, of course. But that's not how business operates. There will be people that will come into the organization and realize that they don't like the high energy. They don't like the loud music. They don't like the DJ on the last Thursday or Friday of a month that we have in our office. They don't like the KPIs and the guidelines and the opportunity that we create for people to make money. Some people like to come and go as they please, and that's just not our business. So I think that whilst we would like to retain more, so long as we get the business right and continue to get it right as we do, then I'm okay with 60-40. We could always do better, but I'm happy with 60-40.
Okay.
Especially when you consider the industry average is like 50.
100%. Usually agency owners, that is something that I told you, is that agents are the most unstable thing in the business. But it's by the reason that it's very difficult, it's stressful. You have to have savings. You have to really work hard to get a result. You also have to wait a long time until you get your first commission, if it's off plan, in the secondary market as well. So you have to count with it. And many people don't count on it.
Well, that's probably why I said what I said about looking for things on the CV. If you can show some longevity with an organization, it shows that you have patience. It shows that you have trust and belief in the organization that you're working for. And as you've just said, it can take a fairly long time to get your first commission. Well, when you haven't got a basic salary or another income and you are relying on that, you really do need to be patient. And I think patience is a skill that is learned more so in the Dubai real estate market, because you got to have a lot of patience.
Okay. And do you have any kind of trial period for the agent who is a new joiner? For example, he has 3 months or 2 months to sell the first, to make a first deal.
Well, we stay in line with the UAE labour law, so it's a 6-month probation.
6 month probation.
It's a 6-month probation. If you go successfully through our interview and our onboarding process, we will at every step be making sure that you know how difficult it will be. You know, I'm not in the business of selling people an unrealistic dream. It's important for people to know that it's going to be difficult when they make the move here. So there was already a level of stress and pressure that the individual place on themselves, because maybe they are moving halfway around the world with their life savings to come and do a job that they've never done in a country they've never lived, to sell real estate in a city like Dubai. To do that, there is already pressure and stress on the individual. So to add even more so from the company side, I think is unfair. Rather, we operate in a way which is to provide the platform, to provide the training, to onboard staff in the right way, provide visas, etc., so that the individual feels as comfortable and as settled as they possibly can. Why is that important? When you feel that way, you're more likely to be more successful. I don't want people unnecessarily worrying that they don't have a visa or they don't have enough money behind them, because that worry and stress will naturally brush off onto their clients. And then the clients will feel like they're dealing with an unprofessional agency. So the way that we onboard our staff and the way that we train and guide them and develop them during that 6-month period, it's almost like an incubator. Yeah. Do we want people to sell or do their first deal as quickly as they possibly can? Yes, it's hugely important, because the sooner you do a first deal, the sooner you get money in your pocket, the sooner you realize that light bulb moment is actually working. I'm good at it. But sometimes it does take people a little bit longer, but your probation is a 6-month one.
Okay, and do you have some kind of fail stories? When you hire fails, yeah.
I have many failed stories.
People like fails to hear, because that makes everyone feel like together, because everyone has some kind of fails. But it's interesting to hear from your point of view, like what was the fail and how to avoid this kind of fails in the future.
To normalize failure, we are operating in a very lucrative but very high risk industry, right? People will join us and they may have an ill family member back in their home country and they need to go and put their family first. That's absolutely understandable and more than fine. Those kinds of failures will always happen, because sadly people will always be born, people will always die. It's just the way that it is, and we can't stop that. The things that I wish we could stop are the people that will join the industry thinking that there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow and they can get there overnight. Time, hard work, effort, those are the things that you need. And unfortunately, some of the failures that we see is people will come to Dubai, they will see the car rental places, they will rent a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce or something, they will put it on their Instagram, and to the outside world, wow, Cam's just moved to Dubai and he's driving a Rolls Royce. Like, he's doing so well. This is amazing. It's rented.
Yeah.
That's not what you want. And we've had an instance, it was about 2 years ago now, where an individual joined us. He rented a G-Wagon on his birthday within the first couple of weeks of him moving to Dubai. He rented another supercar later on in the month because he did something else with a girlfriend. As I say, to the outside world, it looked like he was doing incredibly well. Within 3 months, he was back in the UK. And you don't want to, because you don't want to seem not very nice, but you have to laugh, because you think, well, of course you've gone home. Of course you've ended your Dubai journey too quickly, because you've rented things beyond your means. Nobody that works in the Dubai real estate market is going to believe that after 2 weeks you're driving a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini. And if you are, where have you stolen it from? So I think it's like a rite of passage that everybody starts somewhere. If you think back to your first apartment that you lived in versus the apartment you live in now, you think about your first car versus your car now, everybody steps up slowly. But the failures are when people try to run before they can walk. And as a recruiter that's been in the industry for 8 years, you can't help but have a smirk every now and then, because you think, oh, have you done it? Like, if it's a special occasion and you've got money in the bank and you can do it, fantastic. I wish you all the well. But if you've just arrived in Dubai to do a job that you've never done with your life savings, why are you spending them on silly things like that? So those are some of the failures that we get. But there are equally a lot of success stories as well.
Okay, for sure. So, and when you hire someone, before that, do you have some kind of tasks for them? like the task on how they have to prove their skills?
In terms of tests, no. In terms of going through a fairly robust interview structure, yes. So when an individual applies with us, they will be requested to complete an application. On the application, there will be some questions, but there will also be a short video for them to record. The first test is if somebody skips the video.
Okay.
Why have you skipped the video? It's a short video. In today's modern age, to get behind a camera and do 15, 20, 30 seconds, it's easy for a lot of people. And if it's not easy for you, that's okay. We want you to be a bit uncomfortable. We want you to get outside of your comfort zone. And some of the videos that we see are incredible. Like, you think to yourself, why do you want to work in real estate? Like, you should be a movie producer. This is incredible. Some of them are very basic, but it gives us an insight into the individual from the word go, how comfortable they are, how confident they are, and whether or not they've actually followed instruction, which is, this is the application, these are the questions to fill in, and this is the video to record. Beyond that, we then have 2, sometimes 3 interviews. We try our best to meet the individuals face to face, but that's impossible if you're overseas. And so they would be video call. Of course, if you're locally here in Dubai, then we would meet you face to face. Where it gets interesting for Allsopp and Allsopp, though, is that we regularly visit the UK and host recruitment events. And actually, we're going to be there in a couple of weeks. It will be our 20th event that we will be hosting. And the reason that these events are so important is that we get to meet face to face with individuals thinking about making the move to Dubai real estate. We're real and tangible. They're real and tangible. You're in a room together and you are on what is effectively a 4-hour interview. During that interview process, there are some tasks, some group work, again, to make you feel a bit uncomfortable, to challenge you in some respect. But I'm very proud of the events because it gives me a first-hand opportunity to go and meet these individuals face-to-face in their home cities, but also it gives them confidence that, okay, so like Allsopp and Allsopp are the real deal. Like they're taking their time and effort and money to come and visit us in the UK. And it works really, really well. In fact, the success that we get from the recruitment events is the reason that we're on our 20th event.
Okay. And how many people usually come for this kind of events?
Anywhere between 200 to 500. It really depends on the time of the year. It depends on the state of the economy. It depends on the weather. If it's sunny outside in the UK, people will not be attending the events necessarily because they will think, oh, well, it's sunny today. I don't need to go to a recruitment event to talk about sunny Dubai. But the events, for me, they are a concentrated number of people that are seriously focused on wanting to make the move to Dubai. And they are taking time out of their day or their evening to come and meet with us. Those are the people that I enjoy meeting the most because you can see they've shown up, they look smart, they've taken, as I say, time, money, effort to come and meet us. It's a nice value exchange.
Okay.
And that's not to say that I don't enjoy meeting people on a video call. Of course, that's the way that we have to operate, a lot of the time. But there is something really wholesome about that in-person contact.
Yeah, true. I feel like you're more for the growing the stars than hunting them from some other agencies, which is a very good thing. I respect that a lot because to find these talents, even in UK, they don't know the market of Dubai. That means that you have to first invest your time to educate them and to prepare them for sales. Since sometimes some part of the people will be still like you said 60-40, right? So 60% out of them is your agents, and I feel like they're very loyal to you. Like even those that you came there, you connected, they like your company, they don't want to leave. However, what do you think about headhunting? Let's say it's from the another agencies, when you see the top agent somewhere. What's your opinion about it?
So I love headhunting, and I think it's a very valuable piece of what we do as recruiters, whether or not that's through Allsopp and Allsopp Executive Search, which is the recruitment agency, or in-house at Allsopp and Allsopp Group. But going back to your earlier point, we grow the stars 100%. I think our business model is very, very clear. We're very good at identifying raw talent that's maybe never done real estate before, or people that have operated in real estate in other parts of the world and come to Dubai new. That's not to say that we don't also offer a really great platform for local established real estate brokers, and we do. There's at least half a dozen that I can remember off the top of my head now that have operated in other agencies that have come to Allsopp and Allsopp that continue to be very, very successful, and actually in many respects have become more successful since they've joined Allsopp and Allsopp than they were when they were operating in another agency. And that fills me with confidence too, because it shows that we have quite a diverse business model, which means people new to the industry can be successful, but we also have a platform which allows exclusive and already experienced agents to be a success too. The challenge you will find is if you're really good, like really good, why are you moving? And so what we will tend to generally find is that there will be some catalyst that will mean that somebody wants to make the move away from that particular agency. Maybe they've had a fallout with management, maybe they don't like the direction of the business. And so those are the people that you will generally find are easier to headhunt than those who are consistently top performing agents in their current industry or current agency. Because you've got to ask your question. If you're really good at what you're doing, why are you looking outward? The only reason you would look outward is if you are looking for more leads or maybe a management opportunity or more exposure to more listings or a larger team, a better brand. And again, we've had success taking what are classed as top performers in smaller agencies and bringing them to a larger agency like Allsopp and Allsopp and seeing them just
growing. Yeah.
Ever wondered how top real estate agents in Dubai secure the most clients in a highly competitive market? They respond fast and accurately to their clients' requests. Imagine being the first to respond with stunning sales offers, closing the deal effortless. With Really, creating high-quality presentations and sales offers is just a click away. No more racing against time. Stand out by replying in seconds, not hours. If you're ready to be the fastest agent in Dubai, download Really, customize your offers, outshine your competitors, fast responses, impressive offers. Really, where the speed meets success.
That's definitely. And what do you think is the most common reasons why agents are going from another company to another?
Well, as I say, some of those reasons will be based on, management fallout. Maybe they are based on the direction of the business going in a different direction to what, they want. I listened to a really great podcast the other day, which talked about how people use toxic work environments as a reason to leave an employer. And the podcast host said, I don't believe it. I actually don't believe workplaces become toxic. I believe values become misaligned. And for you to say a place is not where you want to be, that's fine. Hold your hands up and say, it's not for me anymore. I'd like to move on, either to a smaller bespoke agency or to a larger, more corporate agency. There's nothing wrong with admitting that you're hanging your gloves up and you want to move on to another company, but just do it in the right way. Do it in a professional manner. The real estate industry and Dubai is so small. Yeah. You can bump into anybody at any given time. If you've left somewhere with your head held high professionally, the likelihood of you bumping into each other again or doing business with each other in the future again is highly likely. We've also had people that have left us professionally, gone to another agency because they thought the grass was greener and returned to Allsopp and Allsopp. And that, for me, is like the gold standard. When people leave you to experience what it's like outside and then return to your business,
that's
you've done a good job.
Yeah, it's a good sign.
Yeah,
definitely, it's a good sign. I had a few stories in my practice when the agencies were coming to me and sharing the stories, and they were saying, Karina, I have a problem. And one of the cases I will share, I think even before in my Instagram I was telling about it. So what was the case? The case was that agency owner comes to me and says, Karina, I'm so desperate. Agents are crazy. I'm hiring one. It's very toxic. I don't understand. And I'm asking what happened. So what happened is that his own agents in the agency, they created a separate chat in WhatsApp, created a group without management, and were talking about the management within the group.
Yeah.
Right. So, and they were taking the pictures from the owner Instagram and sharing it in a group and laughing on it and etc. And actually they were paid agents. So which means that they were getting even a base salary. So what my thoughts was about it is that first of all, the management is wrong. that means that it was allowed like this, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of atmosphere was already there.
Yeah.
And I was telling that the atmosphere, what is within the team, within the manager, is so important. Then the toxic environment is not happening. So what you would advise to prevent this kind of toxic environment? What your thoughts about it?
Well, I think ultimately it's comes from the top, right?
Yeah.
And whilst we as entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs within business don't like to think of a hierarchical management structure, sadly, that is the way that it is. There is an owner or a CEO, chairman at the top of the pyramid, and everybody falls below. And if the top of the pyramid allows that kind of behavior, then naturally it will filtrate through to the rest of the employees within the business, which is sad.
Yeah.
I think something that we do very well as a business is our owners are very visible. Okay, you know Lewis Allsopp, you know Kyle Allsopp, you know who they are, and they embody and they emulate through their own Instagrams the success and the failures of life in general. And I think that makes it very, very real. But if you've got people in your business that do not have respect for those who are in higher ranking positions, then those people need to go. That's quite harsh, I know, to say that, but a business needs to be harmonious. Can it be harmonious 100% of the time? No, because there are always people that will come and go, that will create a shift in the atmosphere. But you have to have really, really strong managers and really, really strong owners to make sure that the vibe and the environment and the atmosphere of the business is throughout the business at all times. And if you've ever stepped into one of our offices, you'll know what I mean by that. It's chatty, it's uplifting, it's upbeat. We have music, we have baristas. Like you can't help but be invited into an office. And I've been to lots of other real estate offices and other businesses as well. And you can hear a pin drop. It's quiet. And it feels not
sad.
Great. Like that's the thing. It feels sad. And when you think that we're at work more than we're out socializing, you know, we're with our work colleagues more than we're with our wives or our best friends. You got to have a good work environment because you're there for a long time. And I think when you have a great work environment, naturally you feel at ease and at peace, and it allows your mind and your brain to then be successful in other parts. Whereas when there is a poor or bad working environment or culture within a business, you need to find the root of it, and the root needs to be removed. And sometimes that's as easy as one person.
Yeah.
Or two, or a small group of people. And if you can identify where that is, you can restore peace and harmony within the business so that it can be successful. But I think it's a challenge a lot of businesses face. Why? Because we are in a city which attracts millions of individuals to it from all parts of the world. Having that number of backgrounds and cultures and ages and demographics all in one place, sometimes that can cause rifts if you don't have the right management in place.
Definitely. And what I think it's fair from the agent side to expect from the agency where he comes and works. What is this criteria for agent to think that this company is good or this company has to still work on it?
For sure. I think the most important thing is a visa. Okay, and it's crazy in this day and age that we're talking about one of the reasons you should choose an agency is because they offer a visa. But I see so many agencies that do not. And you asked earlier on about trial periods. I see so many candidates that will come to us that maybe have chosen another agency and didn't interview with Allsopp Allsopp in the first place. They're with this agency for 2, 3, 4, 6 months with no visa, which means no broker card, which means they cannot advertise their properties online. They cannot open a bank account. They cannot rent a property on a long-term basis. They are not comfortable. They are not happy. They are not settling into their new Dubai life. That's something which we could not ever accommodate. If you join Allsopp Allsopp, you have a visa from the word go. In fact, in many instances, you actually arrive in Dubai under your employment visa as an employee of Allsopp Allsopp. So that process has already started. And I think for people to feel that shoulders down comfort of, okay, I'm part of the team before I've even set foot in the office on day one, that's so, so important. The other things that an agency should provide to the agent is leads, is data, is information, is a platform, is training, is guidance. Many of these individuals that are coming to Dubai, one, are coming to Dubai for the first time.
Yeah.
I love what you said earlier. You know, you had to Google, you know, where is Dubai? What is Dubai? Many people will do that, and having a really great recruitment team that will guide them through that process is important. But when people do arrive, they need to feel like they've got support around them. So many, again, instances I hear of people arriving, no visa, no training. You'll work it out. You'll find out as it goes. And to the individual who's never done it before, where do they begin? And it's something that we're very proud of with Allsopp and Allsopp. We have an amazing training, we have an amazing onboarding team, and their responsibility is basically to get an agent up to speed as quickly as they possibly can so that they can begin earning as quickly as they possibly can. And ultimately, if you're coming here to work in Dubai real estate, you're coming here with a motivation of earning money, right? Like that's going to be one of your main drivers. If you can do that quickly and efficiently with an agency, knowing that you've got your visa, knowing that you've got your bank account set up, you've been advised on where to rent a car, where to rent a place in the initial stages, what more can an agency do other than to point the agent in the right direction and go, okay, well, here's the toolbox. You have access to it at all times. Mm-hmm. Now go. If you don't give the agent the toolbox and you expect them to find their own way, it will take the agent longer to be more successful. And let's not make any mistake. Although it's commission only, there is still an investment from the company or the agency side to the agent. And therefore, there needs to be a return on investment on the individual sitting in that seat to pay for, you know, their time in Dubai, you know, to make it worthwhile for the visa cost, to make it worthwhile for the training, the onboarding, the purchase of data. Like all of these things need to be paid for, and the return on investment that an agency will get back from the agent is really, really important.
Okay. That sounds perfect. Yeah, that
Good.
sounds really good. That sounds really good because while there's new agencies, they make such a big mistake when they are expecting agent to come and just start to close deals. Like, really, that's the true stories. Like, maybe give 10 leads or something, or just give a phone and that's it. Start to work. Like, you have to prove yourself first before we start to do visa, before we start to invest in you, and etc. So that's a really good point why to join Allsopp and Allsopp, definitely.
100%.
And especially the training, because trainings are not supported by so many companies that is on the market.
Well, I think people, or rather, I think companies expect individuals to come as like plug and play employees. And if you're hiring an experienced broker, sometimes you're going to get a plug and play individual. But even experienced brokers maybe don't operate to the same level or standard as what we would expect. And so we've had people that have joined us, maybe have done, I don't know, 9 months, a year with one other smaller or less successful agency. They've joined Allsopp and Allsopp and they've asked, I'm going to go through your training, right? Like I'm going to get access to your training. Of course, everybody starts with the same foundations. Unless you've been operating and have a very, very good track record of operating in the real estate market, it's unlikely that you would skip our training and onboarding program because we want everybody to experience it from the word go. That way, there can be no ambiguity on, oh, well, I didn't get that, or I wasn't told this, or that wasn't shown to me. Everybody is shown everything from the word go. How somebody then decides to use the information that they've been given will be the difference between a top performing agent and somebody that goes home after a month or two.
And how long for the agent it takes usually to make this first deal? Because you have an amazing training. So what is the average of closing deal after how many months?
So I would definitely say if somebody's closing a deal in their first month, they deserve a massive round of applause, okay? Because to move to a new country and go through all of the upheaval of that and do a deal in their first month, bravo, like incredible. But if it takes somebody a little longer, they shouldn't think to themselves, well, that's it, I'm giving up, I'm throwing in the towel. It may just be a case of luck, maybe right place or wrong place, wrong time. You just never know. But I would say if somebody's doing a deal in their first month to 6 weeks, fantastic. Generally speaking, we'll see somebody do their first deal within the first 8 weeks. And that's in a lettings capacity, of course. In sales, it can take a little longer, but generally speaking, somebody is operating in our business, they are doing a deal in their first 8-ish weeks. But to make very clear, if somebody takes longer to do their first deal for a number of reasons, so long as we can see hard work and correct attitude and they're showing up every day
And dedication,
and the activity levels are there, but they haven't quite gone over the line with their first deal, we're fine with that. If somebody arrives and simply cannot be bothered and there's no deal, there's a conversation to have, of course, because it's important for us not to waste time ourselves, but more importantly, not to waste the time of the individual. Because if they've arrived and they just aren't getting it or they just aren't enjoying it, at what point do we say, okay, do we look to reposition you somewhere else within the business? Is the real estate industry for you? Is Dubai for you? And it's about having those conversations early on to make sure that we're all on the same page, employer and employee.
And what about the sales director? How do you find them? Do you also find them somewhere abroad, or you are taking it from the teams itself and doing promotion?
We promote from within.
Okay.
And it's something that as a business, I personally love. Why? It's a level playing field. You could work in our organization for 5 years and you could show incredible success. But maybe your lifestyle choices are different and you don't want to operate on a commission-only basis and you would look to do something else. Maybe you want to start a family. Maybe your wife wants to go self-employed and you need more of a steady income. Like, there are lots of reasons that people want to move away from commission-only. When that happens, if they have a proven track record with our business, of course we would love to retain them within the organization. That doesn't mean we have hundreds of management or salary jobs to give away, but it does mean that for the right person, yes, we would want to retain them. Vice versa, let's say you work in an organization for 5 years, you've worked your absolute socks off, you think you're deserved of a promotion, and then they hire X candidate from overseas. Like, excuse me, I deserve that job. That should be me. So we always promote from within for that reason. But more importantly, there is a trust, there is a track record, and they know the business. So that when a candidate turns into an employee, the employee is in the process of doing their first deal, and they go to their manager and they ask questions with instant confidence because they've been there, they've done it, and they've gotten the t-shirt. And that's not something that all real estate agencies in Dubai can offer. In actual fact, we're very proud. Again, I did the calculation recently with our chief people officer. 10.6 years is the average tenure for management within our business.
Okay, 10.6.
10.6 years is the average time our management have been employed within our business.
Ooh.
Incredible. And why it's incredible is because if you are a new broker coming to Dubai, or you're an experienced broker in Dubai that is looking for their next challenge, do you want to work for a company that has management that at the drop of a hat has confidence to be able to answer and steer through any situation, be that positive, negative, the unknown? If you're operating in a business that has a 10.6 year average tenure in management, like, you're going to make money by working with that organization for sure. Whereas, and there's nothing to take away from any of the other agencies that are operating with lesser experienced management teams. We all have to start somewhere. But if I'm wanting to join a real estate company, I need to know the people that I'm working with are experienced and can help and guide me.
Okay. What you can say about motivation? What kind of motivation should be within the teams for them to always keep going? I will explain, because I heard one of my favorite ways of the motivation is when the agent can see transparently what he has to do to achieve this and this, or higher percentage, or be a manager, or so there is no subjective opinion. There is just objective. You made this, you get this.
Yep.
How is it in your experience? What you think works the best?
People yearn for a path. People yearn for, as you say, a transparency or a view of, okay, I start on day one. If I do this, this, and this, then I will reach this level. And that's something that we've worked quite hard on over the last couple of years to really hone what the progression pathway with Allsopp and Allsopp looks like. You could join us as a lettings or a sales consultant. You could go on to become senior. You could go on to become associate director, to partner. There are sideways moves to become branch directors, or even like myself as an entrepreneur within the business that now has another business attributed to their name. So there are many ways that we would want to show people a pathway to progression. Some people will join us and they're not interested in a management title or interested in progressing necessarily, but they see progression as a monetary object. So actually, if they join as a sales consultant and then they go to senior, the most important thing they're interested in is their money better than the year before?
Yeah.
Some people, though, will want to see where they're able to take themselves within a business. And I think that's the reason that we have the tenure within the business management team that we do, because there is that clear pathway. It's outlined to people from the word go. And I think, this is not just our company, but this is real estate generally. It's very transparent. You know how much X is earning, you know how much Y is earning, because all of the figures are calculated on the board. You're either at the top of the board or at the bottom.
Okay.
Right?
100%.
And that's the same in any real estate industry. And I think some people are super, super motivated by that, because I'm thinking, okay, Karina's like third and I'm seventh, and like I'm better than her. Like I need to be better than her. And it makes you, and vice versa. I then get to fourth and you're like, oh my God, Cameron's on my heels. I'm better than Cameron. I need to be number two. So it's hugely about transparency. Yeah.
And it's a healthy competition as well.
Yeah, of course. Any business. In fact, and again, another story, this one not so positive, but I interviewed a candidate recently and she said, so basically you only promote people if they make money. And I said, no, not at all. We will promote people if we see, a value in them, a value exchange. I said, but you've got to be really naive if you're thinking about joining a real estate company and you don't think that your success is going to be based on, or at least looked at, how many deals you do. And at the end, she, I hadn't really thought about it like that. I thought that you might be recognizing me on, the way I communicate with people, or if I turn into work on time. Those are basics. You should be a good employee for sure. But if you're working harder than the next person next to you or your team and you're earning more money, of course that's going to be recognized, because you're there doing the primary objective of why we're operating in real estate. Yes, to find people's homes, because it's a lucrative industry to operate in. So if you're being successful and you're earning more money, you're likely to be recognized as somebody that we should retain within the business, because there's a better return on investment.
Yeah, definitely. And so it's a lot of nice things to hear, right? I think it's good advice for agents and agency owners as well, like to see from the perspective of recruitment. What the trends of the recruitment do you see now? And what trends do you use?
So trends within the recruitment industry are that there's a lot of people coming here. Okay, a lot, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because it can overpopulate an already heavily saturated recruitment industry. To be a candidate within a saturated market means you've got to go that next level. And so what we are seeing is a lot more personal branding emphasis. It's not okay to just share your CV on email and hope that you're going to get a response. You've got to get yourself in front of individuals. You've got to interact with them on their social media, not just like, but comment, share, engage. And that, for me, will get a candidate noticed more so than just flooding my inbox with CVs. So I'm seeing a lot more imaginative ways to obtain a position, because people have got to stand out from the crowd. And it keeps it interesting for recruiters as well. We'll see candidates pop up on our LinkedIn profiles and they'll be commenting that we've spoken to, and you're like, oh, I love this, because it shows that they're interacting with the business. The worst thing in the world is when you just get a candidate that continually emails, hi, just following up, hi, just following up, hi, just following up. If we were interested, we would get back to you, and we will get back to you. But we cannot just send updates to everybody who shares a CV, especially when we're receiving somewhere between 4,000 and 6,000 applications a month.
A month.
A month. Imagine.
Crazy.
Imagine.
6 seconds is too much even to look at every CV.
But that's why you've got to have a good team around you. And that's why you've got to have, clear guidelines on what does good look like? And that's why we invite people to share video applications, because you can get quite a lot more out of that initial few seconds on a video than you could do if, imagine this whole desk here was just filled with papers and papers and papers. Where do you begin? And after you've seen 20, 30, 40, 50 CVs, not wishing to sound rude, but they all look the same. Sometimes there's a picture in the corner, there's their name, there's their job history, some notes on the back about what they're interested in. After a while, you're like, wow, I need to take a break.
Yeah.
But if you were reviewing LinkedIn profiles, you were reviewing videos, the candidate has a more impactful few seconds to make a good impression than they would ever do on a piece of paper.
Let's inspire the agents who are watching now how to be more creative. Tell a few stories that caught your attention from the agency. You were like, wow, this guy or girl is good.
So I personally love the videos where the individual is doing a property tour. Okay. And we get very seasoned professionals in the UK that will do that, operating in the industry back in England and the UK generally. And they will go to one of the properties that's on the market with them, and they will show the property on the video. Those are really, really good, because it really gives us an insight to how they would show a property, which is one of the fundamentals of being a real estate agent, right? But even more so, what I like is the people that have never done real estate before that will then show a property. And we've had instances where they've maybe shown off their apartment, or they've shown their parents' place. I can remember one specifically where they were showing me around their very small studio, and she was really, really engaging. And the way that she spoke about the space, and she opened it up and she switched lights on at certain times just to really make the whole video engaging.
That's good.
Those are individuals that you sit back and you go, wow, like you've had like 30, 40 seconds to get my attention. You've got it. I'm interested. It's not to say that the video sat, if you're in your car waiting at the traffic lights, you're shooting a video. Those are also perfectly fine too, so long as you're safe when you're operating the camera and you're in the car. But it's the videos where you're doing the property tours that just really, because sometimes they'll pick up on things that you think, oh my God, don't say that. Don't show me the washing up bowl with all of the dirty pots in. Or they'll show something which maybe I hadn't even thought of. Those are the great videos. And those should be, especially given what you're going to be doing is selling real estate. If on your interview video, you're selling real estate, you've already done the interview.
Yeah. Now you know how he will work.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. And also what people are wearing and how people are speaking. And again, I can remember one where the lady was talking and she was obviously having somebody videoing her, but she was walking away from the camera and the camera was recording her. And she was showing the property, but the camera was behind her. And you just think, I need to see you.
Yeah.
I can't interview, or I can't see you if you've got your back to us. So some are memorable for good things, some are memorable for not so good things.
Yeah. Well, at least they tried.
Absolutely. A for effort, right? Absolute A for maximum effort. Yeah.
Okay. So let's conclude our talk with something as an advice that you'll give to the agent to find a great company to work with in real estate and how to be a successful agent. Your advice.
So I have much advice, but I will try to keep it to 2 or 3 main points. And I think the most prevalent one is identifying the company's social media strategy or their online presence. Now, if you're choosing a company that has very little online presence, in this day and age, specifically in this market, there should be an alarm bell ringing, because if they do not understand the importance of their digital footprint and how the business looks online, and if the business is searchable online, then they aren't probably receiving an awful lot of leads, or they aren't probably spending a lot of money on lead generation. So that should be the first thing. Allsopp and Allsopp do a tremendous job of that. We have our Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok profiles, all with engaging content. We have a YouTube channel. We have a podcast on a regular basis. All of these things are there to offer guidance, advice, and content to buyers and sellers and, would-be customers but also to people thinking about operating with our agency. You can see from the outset, okay, I know who the owner is. I know who the recruitment director is. I see how the staff interact with each other. I see that they're involved in corporate games. It shows a holistic view of what that business is all about. So that's the first thing. The second thing, look at their standing within the real estate industry. What type of properties do they have for sale? Which areas they're operating in? What type of brokers do they have? Do they have longevity members of staff? And I could reel off numerous names of individuals like Darren Murphy and Charlie King, Rob Kempton, that operate with us and have operated with us for many, many years. Those people operating within an agency should give you confidence, okay, this business knows what they're doing. They're able to generate consistently high performers. I think if you're able to look online at the business and you're able to see that they have a presence, positive, and you can see that they have great people and great properties that they work with, the next step is to engage with the recruiter and hope for the best.
Okay. Actually, really, we have one of the solutions. I think it's amazing. We have a market where we also list the agencies. So basically there you can list the agency where you show what is inside, like in your agency. You can put their information about what do you offer, how looks the infrastructure, how looks the offices, who is the leaders, interview with the leaders. So that gives the first impression about agency itself. And agents who are in our profile can just review the agencies and also consider different agencies to work. But this makes it more transparent, and I think it's very fair game because you know what you get when you come to the company. So this is one of the things as well. And what do you think about it?
Well, I think it plays perfectly well into what I've just said, right? Having an online presence and being transparent and being genuine, people buy from people that they like and that they trust. Now, whether or not you're in the market for a new job, you're in the market for a new house, car, piece of jewelry, if you go to that organization and you have a really great, honest, pleasant experience, are you going to buy?
Yeah.
You are. You have anything less than that, and because of how many agencies and how many companies are in Dubai, the competition is high. So if a company gets it wrong, candidate has an easy task to be able to go to the next best place. So it's a company's job to make sure that they are open, they are transparent, they are engaging, and I think it's great.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not a secret that powerful networks open the door to new opportunities and growth. Would you like to step into a network that works for you, connecting with a vibrant community of agents, attending exclusive events, and getting the mentorship from the industry legends? Really is a game changer that you need. Join events, collaborate with like-minded agents, earn big through referrals. Register and get verified on Really to unlock a world of possibilities in the real estate community. Don't miss out on the connections that can change your career. Link is in the description.
And what would be your advice for the agency owner? Now it's 5,000 agencies in the UAE.
I know, crazy.
Right? How to be different, how to attract great agents. What would be your advice?
I think we've touched on many of the points throughout the discussion that agencies and agency owners need to do. But I think if an agency owner is accessible, okay, and is open and is genuine and is sharing content in the marketplace, and you could easily message and strike up a conversation, that is good. And, you know, there's little wonder that our CEO, who is now chairman of Allsopp Allsopp Group, has been emulated by many individuals that want to, you know, enjoy some of the success that he has. But I think being open and being welcoming and basically saying, look, this is the product that we offer. This is who we are. If you like us, roll up. Come and see what it's all about. If you don't, there's equally no problem because there are 4,999 other agencies that you can choose from. But I think something I try and do on my own social media is I am me. How I am with you today, how I will be when I'm in the office later, how I am with my wife, I'm me. You either buy into me or you don't. And I think as an agency, that's something that we've continued to do extremely well. You buy into us or you don't. And I think if agencies try to be something that they're not in an effort to try and win people, they'll end up winning the wrong people, which eventually will backfire on the business.
True.
So be genuine, be open, be upfront, be helpful,
And maybe make them fall in love with the future plan. If it's new agency, then if you are sharing what are you going to do and how you're going to do, agents are the one who might believe and go.
I think if it's an early company, that's definitely important. But I think even a company which has been established for the length of time that we have, which is 15 years, in fact, in September it will be 16. There's still a journey that we're on. I think it's easy to look at our business and go, oh, they're really successful. They must just be resting on their laurels. No, absolutely not. We are successful and we are where we are. It's been, a tough, long road to get to where we are, but it's even harder to retain that top spot, right? And I think some businesses will get to a level and they will plateau. The Allsopp and Allsopp story is not finished yet. And that, as a recruiter or as the director of recruitment leading a team of recruiters within the organization, that is so exciting because you think, yeah, we're not finished yet. Like, yes, we've gotten to a great place, but there's higher levels that we can reach. And recruiting for an organization that has that mantra, incredible. That's why I have a smile on my face.
I see that you're very positive. You're very open. I truly enjoyed our podcast today, and I also got some valuable information for myself.
Good.
So it's my pleasure to talk with you, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of valuable facts and points that our agents or agency owners will highlight. And thank you so much for coming to the podcast today. It was my pleasure.
Pleasure is mine. Thank
you.
Cheers.
Cheers.